know what you're thinking. I saw the title of this video, took a look at me, you saw this very aggressive side part. You said millennial. She's got a twinkle in her eye and a Disney princess song on the tip of her tongue. I know what she is. She's a Disney adult. Shows what you know. I can't afford to go to Disneyland. My name is Teresa, and this is Disney Adults. So let's clarify what a Disney adult is. Somebody who is in their 20s, mid-20s, 30s, upwards, who very much lives the Disneyland life, who very much is, according to some critics on the internet, a shell for Disney merch. Somebody who is very much enthused by Disney. The unofficial cheerleader for Disney. They have an encyclopedic knowledge for all things Disney, Disney Renaissance, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Star Wars universe. They have an annual pass to Disneyland, Disney World, maybe international Disneylands. They own some Disney merch. They probably own that $200, $300 lightsaber, probably own some Spirit jerseys. They definitely have a collection of Mickey ears. And at some point in their life, they have probably gone to Disneyland and they've Disney bounded, which is dressing up in the color palette of your favorite character, but you can't dress up exactly like that character. There's a rule at Disneyland where you cannot dress up like an exact replica of the Disney characters because it gets a little iffy if children want to take pictures with you. There might be some bad actors who like to, I don't know, rope. But there could also be people who do not adhere to the Disney brands. Let's say a child runs up to somebody dressed exactly like Mickey Mouse and that person smells like weed, or they have the mouth of a sailor and they're like, get the F off me, kid. That ruins the Disney image. You're not allowed to dress like an exact replica of a Disney character. But you can dress in the color palette, or you can get the general idea. You can wear a purple tube top and a green skirt, and then your Ariel. You can wear a red beanie, a striped shirt, and some shorts, and then we get the general idea that you're going as Smee. With Disney bounding enthusiasts, for a time they also overlapped with kind of a 50s rockabilly / twee look. I remember on Tumblr and Instagram in like 2013 or so, I would see girls in really cute dresses that are very twee, 50-ish prom-esque dresses with the starchy petticoats underneath, and they would dress up as Snow White in primary colors or Cinderella, and we all know what they're going for, and I thought would be really cute. But then I took a look at their shoes. They were wearing ballet flats, and I thought, wow, that must be really painful to spend a whole day at Disneyland dressed up, made up in ballet flats. Then I put two and two together and I extrapolated that those who Disney bound are Disney enthusiasts and therefore may have Disney annual passes. You could see the bumper stickers on their cars. So they're probably at Disneyland or downtown Disney for a couple hours. If they're wearing ballet flats, it's not going to ravage their feet. So that being said, there's a lot of criticism online about Disney adults. I don't really see real life heckling, but online, in my opinion, I see a lot of societal handcuffs, not so thinly veiled within those critiques. There's this Rolling Stone article that addresses the cringe factor of Disney adults, and they say, on the internet, being a Disney adult is nothing short of an embarrassment. A Disney adult is someone who lives and breathes the brand, buying limited edition mouse ears and popcorn buckets and branded fitness trackers the moment they drop, constantly posting free advertisements for the park in the form of Cinderella's castle. To declare oneself a Disney adult is to profess to being nothing less than an uncritical bubblehead, ensconced in one's own privilege, suspended in a state of permanent adolescence, raised on a diet of wasps, wasted princesses, and talking animal sidekicks, and dancing candelabras, refusing to acknowledge the grim reality that dreams really don't come true. That is the most depressing and most embittered thing I've ever read. Millennial is a key word here, as most of the current discourse around Disney adult centers are on that specific demographic. Titled Childless Disney Millennial became a meme in 2019 following a mom's irate Facebook post accusing non-parent visitors of depriving her child of a Mickey pretzel. She says in her Facebook post that Disney World is a family amusement park and that immature millennials have no business spending time there. So long story short, this lady was at Disneyland with her son, and they're sick and tired of standing in these long lines to buy a pretzel for her kid. Her kid bursts out into a tantrum, and rather than teaching her son patience is a virtue, she blames the childless, immature millennial woman who got in her way, who is responsible for making these lines so long that her kid cannot have a pretzel when he wants it. And you better believe he wanted it now. So unlike the immature millennials, this woman, a mature adult, signs onto Facebook and she posts, "I effing hate childless women with a burning passion," with a lot of all caps. She says, "I want to take that effing pretzel from that tramp." She suggests that mothers with children should be allowed to skip the line at Disney World before concluding that she can't tell her son no because it says vacation too. Disney World is for children. People without children need to be banned. This lady is definitely having a bad day and she's definitely raging, and she's decided to take it out on a legion of women who don't have children who happen to be at Disneyland. The question begs to be asked, who is Disneyland for? Is it for children? Is it for families? Can you only go to Disneyland if you have a family, if you have children in tow? Because you don't have children, whether because you can't have children or by choice, or you're just 25 years old and you're going on a date with your boyfriend or girlfriend or girls group or guys group, whatever. Who has the right to enjoy Disneyland more? Walt Disney says Disneyland is for everybody. Technically speaking, Disneyland is not strictly for children because children can't get to Disneyland by themselves and they obviously can't pay for it by themselves. So Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, happiness is for everybody. There's no age limit. More importantly, what Angry Pretzel Lady doesn't understand, Disneyland is for anybody who could afford Disneyland. Those with the biggest bucks, those with the fattest wallet, those are the people that would enjoy Disneyland more. That's why you pay more for those genie passes. She's doing her kid a disservice because at the end of the day, when this kid grows up, he's gonna expect to cut lines and get what he wants now. And I guess that's what her parents probably failed to teach her too. It's not how the world works. It's first come, first serve. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Those who can pay for a fast pass get there first. Basically, what we need to teach our kids, to be honest, is that you gotta make money. You gotta make money so that you can afford an annual Disney pass, which allows you to go whenever you want, barring blackout dates. But you gotta make more money so you get the top tier annual pass that doesn't have any blackout dates. And then you need to make even more money in order to add fast pass or lightning genie pass, whatever. And that's how you can fully enjoy Disneyland, because that's how it is now. You don't just stand in line, expect to wait 10 minutes to go on Pirates of the Caribbean or Ride of the Resistance. What are you, living in a fantasy world here? This is a real world. Dreams don't come true. You know, what you really need to teach your kid is that instead of wasting your time throwing tantrums at 3 years old, you need to be tap dancing for your money, you need to be selling your cuteness to get up to the front of the line so you can eat your goddamn pretzel. Who is the arbitrator of what you should like at what age? Is there like a invisible mom voice out there that says that you are 30 and therefore you should stop going to Disneyland because you don't have any children? You have to go only for your children. You are 35. Why are you still into Marvel movies? You're 40. Why are you still playing video games? In that vein, nobody ever critiques sports fans for liking what they like, for dressing up in their favorite team's jerseys, face painters, body painters, engaging in a street riot or like an all-out brawl when their favorite team loses. Nobody really critiques that, you know, but when it comes to adults liking Disney things, which is perceived to be childish, then the judgmental moral voice is like, you should stop. Don't you think face painting, drawing a giant letter on your beard gut, don't you think that's a little childish? Somehow nobody says to the face painter, you should just stop that and you should think about adult things like maybe wearing a shirt. At the end of the day, Disney adults are harmless compared to diehard sports fans, no offense, because they don't get into the fisticuffs, you know, they don't get into a street riot or a pub brawl when their team loses. Overall, they're harmless, unless you count the really diehard fandoms online. Star Wars, I'm looking at you. I guess like they maybe do get into brawls, but it's like a fight of anonymous internet trolling. You know, like Star Wars fans get a little fanatic. My husband is a big Star Wars fan, so therefore I watch the Star Wars movies and TV shows too. He made me watch the Clone Wars, and you know what I learned from the Clone Wars? The Jedi are hypocrites. The moment you do something wrong, they abandon you. Yoda, he did Ahsoka dirty. He did her dirty. Darth Maul, you know, the villain in Star Wars Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace. I think he's kind of hot. I mean, he was like chopped in half and he has no, can I say dick? And actually, when I watch Star Wars, I literally root for the Sith. So there's this whole moralistic judgment. Just grow up already. This is why you millennials are broke, because you spend all your money on Disneyland. Why don't you just take all that money and do something with your life? Buy a house, buy a car, have some children for God's sake, and then live life like I lived my life. How dare you invest in joy and experiences? Why don't you just take all that money, take on some goddamn responsibility like I used to when I was your age? But here's the thing. Don't you think millennials would like to own a home? On the millennial subreddit, there's this 30-year-old man. He works the same job as his dad in the same company, same position, same task, same line of work, and pretty much the same salary adjusted for inflation. His dad on that salary was able to buy a single family home, blue collar job, blue collar pay, single family home, raise 2 children. He, on the other hand, 30 years later, he's not able to do any of that. His single family home's completely out of his reach. It's been bought up by an investment firm, rented out to him. Cost of living has risen. Incomes are not keeping pace with inflation. There's college debt. And you could say, like, your college debt is your problem. You're the one that chose to go to college. But at the same time, a lot of entry-level jobs require college, like the college degree. The bachelor's degree is basically like the high school degree. So basically you have to go to college. You know, you don't necessarily have to go to a private college. You could go to a state college. You don't have to go out of state. You could go to a junior college or whatever. Basically, the expectation is that you have to go to college. And the price of college has increased dramatically. It's just to show you some numbers of how much college has gone up. I did a little bit of light research, looked up my old alma mater, UCLA. I looked up my freshman year, 2002 to 2003. Yes, I am no spring chicken here. Undergraduate residence, annual fee, total mandatory fees, $4,378.27. And then I looked up undergraduate resident 2023 to 2024, and the annual total new student mandatory fees, $18,197.85. I remember they had a mandatory medical insurance fee, and I think that's on top of if you are insured by your parents or whatever, right? It's mandatory. Per year, it was $564 versus now this fee is UC Student Health Insurance Plan, $3,202. God, I feel like the fees have completely doubled for incoming freshmen. And to be honest, if I were to apply to UCLA now as a freshman with the same high school achievements, there's no way I would get in. I feel like the people at the admission office would just take a look at my application and laugh. Things are a lot more competitive now and a lot more expensive. So millennials and Gen Z, despite being more educated than their parents, are not going to be in the same life stage as their parents. And let's just acknowledge that things are more expensive now. So if you can't buy a house right now, what are you supposed to do? Why waste your time feeling bad about it? Why waste your time feeling bad about yourself? Why don't you just indulge in things that you enjoy? And if the things that you enjoy seem kind of juvenile to some people, do their opinions really matter? Like, whose rules are you following? Chances are your parents are following these rules and expectations, like probably got married and they didn't even want to get married and now they're divorced. Maybe they got married and had children, not because they really wanted to, but because society told them to. And you ask yourself, who set that rule for them? They want you, a new generation, to play by their rules, except that you've been dealt a different hand. You are playing with a handicap. So why follow their rules? Break the wheel. Want to change the landscape of the game. I know people get really riled up when you dare to speak an opinion that's different from their own. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Disney adults. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of civilization, despite me saying that you should break the wheel. But you know, Daenerys Targaryen said break the wheel in Game of Thrones, and we all know what happened to her, and hopefully that's not gonna happen to me. So if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And you turn on the notification bell so you can be notified of my videos when it comes out next week. You know the deal.